Hey everyone, this is Chetan Mukpavarpu, and you can call me as Chetan. And this is my Teach One presentation for Module 4 on the ER diagrams. So let's get started. Coming to the next slide. So this assignment was completed for HI 671 Healthcare Databases class at George Mason University in Fairfax under the guidance of our Professor Sanja Avramovic and our GTA Shri. So basically, this course focuses on the real world importance of the database design in the today's healthcare management. So here we are learning not only to store the information, but also how to organize it in the several ways that supports the decision making, compliance, and the patient care as well. So assignments like ER diagrams shows how to properly structure a database so it can eliminate the confusion, and later it can also reduce the human errors between it, and also it can make a healthcare communication in a more efficient way. So let's get moved into the next slide. So in this slide we can clearly see that it shows about my details, my full name and my G number. And coming to the next slide, it shows about the Teach One presentation. So in this presentation, I will be going through the ER diagram that I have designed for a physician's office. So it manages email reminders for its patients. And coming to the purpose of this assignment was mainly to convert a realistic healthcare process, so to send an appointment or vaccination reminders into a logical and structured database model. So this assignment has helped me to analyze and understand easily, so like how an organized database supports the communication accuracy and efficiency in today's healthcare system. So by the end of this presentation, we can clearly identify the each and every entity, and we can also identify the relationships and the professional tools for drawing the ER diagrams like draw.io that I have used to draw the ER diagram. So let's get into the next slide. So in this slide, it shows about the assignment objective. So the primary goal of this assignment was to build a database that records and tracks the reminder emails which was sent to patients. So each of the reminder has to include a subject line, that is a message body and the date it was sent. So each patient also needs a unique identifier and their contact details such as name and address. So the main challenge was to design a logical model that connects these elements in a way so it can avoid the duplications between them, and also it can keep the data in a more consistent way, and also it can be retrievable. So in overall, my design has to capture who received what reminder and when. So let's get into the next slide. So in this slide, we can clearly see that it shows about the problem overview. So for suppose I would like to elaborate about an example. Imagine a busy physician's office where hundreds of reminders go out weekly. Like for suppose few people come for flu shots and others also about the regular follow-up visits, and few people can come for regular checkup or their test results. So without a proper database, it would be very difficult to us to know which patient received which email and when they have received. So like this is very difficult. So that is where an ER diagram becomes very important. So ER diagrams helps the structure all this information in very clean and organized way. So Each reminder is uniquely identified, and also every patient's information and data is correctly stored, and each reminder sent event is tracked very precisely and accurately. So to design this, I have chosen to create my ER diagram using draw.io tool. So it allows me to visualize the entities, attributes, and the relationships very clearly, also using the connectors efficiently. So coming to the next slide. So it shows about the ER diagram design that I have designed. So the design I created in draw.io website. So it contains three main entities. The first one was patients, and the second one was reminders, and the third one was reminder sent. So each of these entity has played a specific role in the system. So firstly, we will be discussing about the patients. The patients table identifies who the message goes to. And coming to the second one, reminders. So here the reminders table defines what's the message is, the subject followed by the content. So coming to the third one is the reminder sent. So this one records when the reminder was sent and connects the two. So each entity was given a clear primary key, and it can also logically define the relationships between them, and also it can ensure that data can be queried very efficiently. So this design follows the relational database principles, and it can also ensure its accuracy, integrity, and the scalability. So this slide gives a clear overview about my ER diagram design. So let's get into the next slide, which is also very important. That's about ER diagram logic. So firstly, let me explain the logic in more depth way. So each patient can be uniquely identified by their email. So here email acts as a primary key, as we have seen in the previous ER diagram, right? Email acts as a primary key. So, and each reminder has a reminder ID. So that's RID. So it also acts as a primary key. So here we can see, here it also acts as a primary key. And coming to the next one was the reminder sent. So the reminder sent acts as a bridge or a junction table. It holds both foreign keys from the other entities and an additional field that is called as send date. As we can see here, reminder date as the reminder sent acts as a bridge between these two. So this structure allows one reminder to be sent to multiple patients and one patient to receive the multiple reminders as well without any redundancy. So this bridge table ensures that every event is captured more precisely and that data can remain in a consistent and also database can grow. So that's the brief overview of the ER diagram logic. And coming to the next slide. So it shows about the entities and the attributes. So here it shows how the entities are structured. So the patient entity includes email. So here email is a primary key followed by name and address. The reminder entity includes reminder ID. So here reminder ID acts as a primary key followed by subjects and body. So coming to the next one was the reminder sent. So this entity contains reminder ID. So here reminder ID acts as a foreign key and email as a foreign key and send date. So each attribute was selected carefully to meet the requirements. So here I have used the draw.io. So it has helped me to ensure that these entities Like they were connected very clearly with the cardinality notations like crow, arrows, foot, showing that like how the each record relates to other ones. So this slide shows the brief overview about the entities and attributes that I have used in my EI diagram and in the process of designing. Coming to the next slide. So we know that this is one of the most important topic in the ER diagram. So that's relationships. So this ER diagram demonstrates two types of relationships that I have included. The first one was one to many, and the second one was many to many. So one patient can receive multiple reminders, while one reminder can be sent to many patients. So with these two cases, it can be overlap. They form a many-to-many relationship as well. So to manage this in a more efficient way, I have used the reminder sent table. So as we have discussed in the ER diagram, right? It acts as a connecting bridge, so it can resolve the relationship into two one-to-many links. So this approach ensures clean data mapping. So, and also it shows the classic normalization technique that prevents the data duplication and it helps to maintain the accuracy overall. So that's the brief overview of the relationships, like what type of relationships I have used in my ER diagram. And coming to the next slide. So it shows about the example scenario. So here I would like to take an example for suppose the clinic sends a flu shot reminder to multiple patients such as John, Mary, and Alice. So John also receives another reminder for his annual checkup. So each of these interactions are stored in the reminder sent table with the send date. So this setup can create a easy and a efficient communication. So it can also track the communication, who received which message and like when they have received the message. So if the clinic ever needs to verify when a patient was last reminded, they can retrieve it very fastly in a flexible way. So that's the strong power of structured database design. So like it's very clear, accurate, and shows the verifiable records. So that's the brief overview of the example scenario. Let's get into the next slide. So here it shows about the design insights. So throughout this assignment, I learned many key insights about the database design. I would like to briefly elaborate about that. Firstly, I have learned about how to define a primary and foreign key, like in an earlier way. So because it's most important and essential, because it is one of the most important aspect in the every relationship. And second one was maintaining consistent naming conventions. So it can avoid a bit confusion and it can also help others to easily analyze the schema of the data. So coming to the third one, like implementing a connecting bridge like reminder sent in the ER diagram. So which keeps the design very flexible and in a normalized way. And coming to the fourth one, like using the tools like draw.io has helped me to identify and correct these small relationship errors. So lastly, I learned that simplicity and clarity in design always lead to a better performance and a long-term scalability. So these are the design insights that I have learned in this assignment. And let's get into the next slide. So this slide shows about the learning reflection. So this assignment was more than just a database exercise. Like it was a lesson in the structured thinking. Like I learned how to read a written scenario and translate it into an accurate logical model. So working with tools like draw.io gave me the visual feedback more specifically, like I needed to refine the relationships between them and also like how to improve the flow of information across them. So coming to the next slide, it shows about the summary and takeaways. So to summarize, ER diagrams are the foundation of all relational database systems. Like they help us to visualize how data interacts between entities and like how the information is flowing through each and every organization. So by designing this ER diagram in draw.io website, like I have learned to plan before implementing and ensuring like each and every relationship is in an efficient and logical way. So coming to the next slide. So like these are the summary and the takeaways that I have seen in this assignment. So coming to the next slide. So this is the last slide I would like to conclude. So like this ER diagram has helped me to understand how structured data models create order and accuracy in the today's healthcare environment and its systems. So like through this teach one process, like I not only learned the material, like I also learned like how to combine my data analytics part with hands-on design experience. So I would like to really appreciate our professors, Sanja Avramovic and our GTA Shri. So, like for their continuous guidance and feedback in the semester. So, thank you for all your attention. Like, and I hope this presentation has provided a clear, practical understanding, like how ER diagrams bring and shows the structure and the accuracy and the insight in the today's healthcare data systems. And that's the end of the presentation. And thank you so much for your time and support. And signing off, Chetan. Thank you.